Hi everyone, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your December 2019 general readings. We are looking at the first half of December from the 1st through the 15th, and this reading is for the fire sign of Sagittarius. Though these are general readings, so as many of you know, check your rising sign video, moon sign, Venus sign. But this video is also for those of you who are cross-watching for Sagittarians as well. So welcome everyone. I am back home in my home base in the States, at least for a little while. Thank you for those of you who continue to follow me through all of my travels. And for those of you who like, share, subscribe, and send all your support, feedback, and comments. And welcome to any newcomers here. If any of you are interested in reaching out for a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can click on the description link below for more information, contact details. You can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I do a wide variety of readings in all areas of life, of all different types and lengths, ranging from 15 minutes up to an hour and a half. And particularly popular this time of year are the 6 and 12-month overviews I do, which is a specific spread that I use to take a look at what's coming in your life over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. And while you can, and many people do order them at any time of the year, they are particularly popular this time of the year as we are drawing to the close of one year and looking at another one, so something to keep in mind. And also personal readings as gifts during the biggest gift-giving season of the year. There's nothing more personal than a personal reading. It is specifically oriented towards the person it is meant for, so also something to consider during the holiday season. All right, moving on. Let's get right into this reading. So Sagittarius, let's see what the first half of December has in store for you. Okay, Sagittarius, we begin with the Seven of Swords, followed by the Page of Wands. We have the Five of Wands, followed by the Three of Cups. From the bottom of the deck, your overall energy for the first half of December is the Nine of Swords. So a lot of stress, anxiety, and worry with this Nine of Swords, Sagittarius. But it's usually somewhat illusionary. Swords is air energy. That's the element which governs the suit. And this is all about mental, cerebral, intellectual energy, how we look at things, what our belief systems and ideologies are, perceptions, perspectives, because that affects the way that we see the world and communicate with the world and people in the world. So the energy of swords, this air energy, is all about internal, mental, psychological energy. The Nine of Swords, sometimes called the insomnia card, you can see this woman is up in the middle of the night or the wee hours. She's all hunched over, and the swords represent either many different ideas, thoughts, and fears in her head, or one kind of overwhelming, overriding one. Now, while the source of your fear, anxiety, and worry might be quite valid, the Nine of Swords usually comes up when there's too much. You're spending too much time thinking about something, obsessing about something. This is a card that often shows up when you're in fear of the future about something. Future tripping, as my kids call it. What am I going to do if this happens? What am I going to do if that happens? Kind of trying to envision how something is going to work out, and it's almost always the worst possible thing. But this is a card that represents that even though your concerns might be valid, are certainly valid, you're spending too much time thinking about them and obsessing about them. Circular thinking, negative self-talk, etc. And there may be a solution or some kind of insight or resolution right in front of you, as represented by the little owl you see on the windowsill. Everything on a tarot card is symbolic. You could spend hours just going over one card. Owls are one of those universal symbols for wisdom, knowledge, enlightenment, truth, an answer, solution, etc. But she can't see it, even though it's very close to her, because she's just completely consumed with whatever the fears, anxieties, and worries are. So thinking too much about something, thinking obsessively about something, kind of thinking in circles negatively about something, it's too much. You can cut that energy at least in half. I feel like there's conflict some kind of conflict, although maybe somewhat petty, some kind of conflict within a group of people. It could be a circle of friends that you really love, or a community that you really love somehow. And somehow you feel a sense of responsibility in trying to work something out or figure something out with this group of people, whether it's small or large. I feel this sense of kind of responsibility for these people. Let me clarify this Nine of Swords really quickly. The Hierophant, usually represented as a priest or bishop or something of that sort, represents convention, tradition, sometimes organized religions, institutions, large corporations, the conventional path. Some of you may be in a leadership position. Some of you might be a priest or a pastor, male or female. You might be in a position of, you know, some kind of authority or responsibility or steward over a group of people, or directing a group of people. And this could be anything from something religious to something, you know, like a circle of friends or a community group or something of that sort, or even, you know, over a team of people at work. But there's a lot of stress over some kind of conflict going on within this group, and you feel this energy of the Hierophant. I'm feeling quite distinctly for many of you, regardless of the details and specifics of the situation. So what I can see is that we have the Seven of Swords and the Page of Wands, sometimes called the Thief card, or keeping things under wraps, secrecy, or deception. Sometimes can represent actual theft. Hopefully nobody's stealing something within a group of people or community or something of that sort. It might be the case for some of you. The Seven of Swords can simply represent that, you know, it's often nicknamed the Thief card, but sometimes it gets a bad rap because sometimes it can represent somebody who has a goal or something they mean to accomplish or do, and they're keeping their plans and options and choices and you know, what they're planning on doing secret for as long as possible in order to achieve those goals. But clarifying that Seven of Swords is the Page of Wands. Pages can represent young people or children. This could be about a child, perhaps, of yours or someone else's. Perhaps you just found out that a child or a young person or somebody else is acting immaturely, because pages can represent adults who are acting immaturely as well. The Page of Wands, the fastest of all of the pages. Wands is governed by the element of fire. So this usually represents somebody who is, you know, pages can represent young people. They represent student or apprentices, or people who are somebody who is being at the introductory start of something. Wands is fire energy, so this page has a lot of passion and fire and enthusiasm, but not a lot of life experience yet. This could also be somebody who's acting immaturely and trying to keep it undercover or keep it secret somehow. So for some of you, it might be a young person or a child, or it could be a grown-up, an adult who is doing something in an immature fashion, or even in a morally wrong fashion, and trying to keep it secret or undercover. Perhaps you just discovered something. And then next we have the Five of Wands and the Three of Cups. So here's conflict, but it's rather petty conflict because we're only at a 5 here. You can see that the people in this circle are sparring. They're not using real weapons, they're using practice weapons, and they're sparring with each other. It can represent competitive energy. It can also represent petty conflict, gossip, rumor mongery, you know, everybody kind of fighting over the same thing over and over again, the same argument, nobody winning, nobody losing, but no clear solution either. And it's clarified by the Three of Cups, which is the card of high social energy, sometimes called the party card. This might be about a party or a celebration of some kind for some of you. It can represent kindred spirits, people who, you know, care about each other, brotherhood, sisterhood, best friends, a really good community energy. So there's this conflict energy, competitive energy within this group of people or community. And again, it might be in a religious community like your church. It could be just in your general environmental community. It could be family. It could be friends. It could be something at work. For some of you, it might be, I mean, we are approaching the holiday season. Perhaps, there's some major celebration or parties being planned, and there's just a lot of fighting and argument, and arguing about it. I feel like one person is central in this, though. This Page of Wands. Something that they're doing is actually, and something that they're trying to keep to themselves, is actually spawning some kind of conflict within this group of people or this community, small community. It could be a group of people at work. And you are feeling a lot of stress and anxiety about this because you feel somehow responsible. You have some kind of role with this group of people where you're in a position above them, so to speak, whether it's a boss or a supervisor, or again, some kind of religious figure, priest, pastor, male, female, or some kind of parental role. And you're in a position to, because you're sort of at the top, everybody kind of looks at you to kind of figure this out, or help them figure out a way through all of this conflict. And this is a really interesting reading, and it could be in a variety of different ways. I mean, it could be that perhaps you're over a community, a group of people in your community or at work, and you discovered that somebody is actually stealing, like a young person or somebody's kid is stealing, and that's been causing a lot of conflict in the community, and you're trying to figure out what to do about it. What is the right thing to do? I mean, that's one example of what this could be. It could be that somebody is, manifesting like the Page of Wands undercover and going around, gossiping and rumor mongering and whispering, and it's causing a lot of conflict within this group of people. Because I feel like one person, if it's either a young person, Sagittarius, or it's a grown-up who's acting in an immature, childish way, who is instigating something, and you're trying to figure out, you may be trying to figure out who it is, although I think it's going to become evident in the first half of December. You may already know. And you're trying to figure out what to do about this, because you're in the position of the Hierophant, some kind of paternal or maternal figure. You're kind of over these people in some way, and so you're trying to figure out what's the best way to navigate through this. Because and it sounds very serious, and you're definitely stressed out about it. But in actuality, the conflict is more, more on the realm of gossip, rumor mongering, people talking, people whispering, but one person kind of being at the root of it all. So let's pull an advice and guidance card for Sagittarius on how to best handle this, at least for the first half of December. I'm always interested to hear feedback on how the general readings resonate. This one feels pretty specific. The King of Swords is your advice. Kings and queens represent individuals who have reached a point in self-mastery, discipline, and control over the character traits inherent to their suit. So swords is air energy, mental cerebral energy. So this King of Swords, this is somebody who is quite mature. This is somebody who is very into doing the right thing. What is the moral, ethical, right thing? He's a king. He understands that the decisions he makes affects a variety of people, everyone in his kingdom. So he's very measured and thoughtful about how he makes decisions. He carefully considers. This is not somebody who is driven by his emotions. Not that he doesn't experience emotions, or she, but this is somebody who is not prone to allowing his emotions and feelings to be the thing that decides it. He carefully weighs out all the facts, ethical and moral things, practical things, what are the actual details of this, and makes a decision based on what is right. And he or she will often sacrifice their own emotions on the altar of what is right. Okay, this is actually the right thing I need to do here in this situation, regardless of how I emotionally feel about it. But this is somebody who's also, wants to do the moral and the ethical thing as well. So in terms of advice, it's to manifest the energy of the King of Swords, Sagittarius. And while the specifics of that may vary depending on who's watching this, because it feels so specific, it may not resonate for a large group of people. But the King of Swords is somebody who lays out the facts first. I mean, this is somebody who, if this was a judge in this situation, like an actual legal situation, this is somebody who would make their decision based on the facts. Okay, you've done this, and this is the punishment I must give you. However, considering, ethics and morals and any mitigating or influencing factors, I may adjust it accordingly. But I have to do the right thing because when you have a situation where there's conflict or gossip or rumor mongering within a group of people, the first thing you need to do is put a stop to that, go to the root of it, the source of it, and kind of go with it from there. And this is a situation where the advice, being the King of Swords, while emotions and feelings are completely always at play here because they're part of what makes us human, this is about taking a look at the situation, evaluating it, and making a decision that isn't emotionally driven. So keep that in mind here. And again, it feels more like, it's more petty conflict energy or competitive energy, and it might be, competitive energy within this group of people about something, and maybe that's why there's gossip and rumor mongering, because there's some kind of competition energy kind of going on amongst people as well, people trying to outdo each other and kind of whispering behind people's back, although it does look like there's one particular person at the root here, so that's the person that you're going to need to start with first. Interesting reading, Sagittarius. So that wraps up your reading for the first half of December 2019. I hope you found it at least not too confusing. For those of you for whom it resonated, I hope that you found it useful and helpful. If any of you are interested in a personal reading with me, particularly if any of these videos do resonate with you, just click on the description link below for more info and contact details. Again, feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. I work a lot. It's all that I do. So I'm pretty diligent at working with both your schedule and mine to get readings out as quickly as possible. So if you're interested, send me an email and we'll go from there. I hope all of you have a wonderful holiday season. I wish you much joy, love, and happiness, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.